You know how that turns out. Mix all the bright colors of the rainbow and then it becomes really dark. It's like this. Yes. Hi. It's been some time. Yeah. How do you do this anymore? I don't know. At least I'm back. I hope that's a good thing for you. I'll never know. Today I will be introducing you to a whole new series that I'll be doing on my channel. It is called Books That I'm Interested in, plus me just telling you books that I'm currently reading. The reason why I made this concept of a series on my channel is because I don't technically do TBR videos, but I do like watching them myself. It is because I get to watch people introduce me to certain books which I have or have not heard of before, but without hearing their criticism about it. So I can have my own thoughts rounded up on my own. Since I will not ever really make a TBR video in my entire life, instead I will tell you 5 books per episode. Well, going in an episode. I made sure that every episode has its own theme. Like for this one, for example, is where I will be talking about contemporary reads, books, the genre, because that is my favorite as of now. The books that I will be discussing here may be new releases or backlist titles or ones that are not that new or not that old either. And I guess the idea of dwelling into the possibility that all these books will be fantastic will be a great benefit of the doubt for all of us. The first book I want to talk about is How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox. We follow a female main character named Biz who is having a very complicated relationship with her family while also experiencing the grief from the death of her father that happened already a couple years ago in her life. It may seem as if that the whole concept of this book is surrounded in grief, which is true, but it is also the fact that she is discovering her sexuality because there is a female and a male love interest, I believe, in the story. She does not know what that means, so she is really rediscovering everything about herself. And also it's about accepting the fact that you are not feeling well with the approaches that you take in your life, and how does that feel when you are alone to experience those things, like sadness and grief and sorrow, loneliness, all that together in one gigantic bubble where you are in the center of it and nobody else is in that bubble with you. Already by the tone of this book, I know that it's going to be pretty dark and also kind of fluffy in a way because of the love interest, which is Chef's Kiss, of course. Come to me, I need you to fill my heart with all the gayness that is required for me to live further. The next book is quite a very difficult book for me to describe, as well as if I'm putting this book in a proper category in the contemporary genre. When I do talk about contemporary, I also am introducing books that have a slight magical element to it, like magical realism, because some contemporaries these days, or the ones that are coming out, have this, which I very much love. This one is called Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. From what I've heard, this is actually kind of a memoir, autobiography slash magical realism, which is a very interesting concept and I'm guessing also very heart-wrenching. All I know that I really want to know about this book is that we follow a girl who moves to a new place and she has these struggles with everything happening around her as well as herself, her inner self. She believes that she is a wizard who can overcome all these struggles using her magical abilities. I know when I'm saying this is like a very light-hearted description, but when I first heard that, I knew exactly, not exactly, but I kind of had this gut feeling like this is gonna be heavy because I think when it comes to fluffy ideas or happy stories or tropes, any of that, and when you put that trope in a difficult situation, it just makes that dark situation even darker. Like there's like this quote that darkness is darker when light shines through. I believe that you shouldn't take this as if it's completely like a fantasy novel. It is not. It is like that kind of magical realism thing. You can't really explain why that certain concept is happening, but it just is. It is like metaphors brought to life, which I just love that. It's such a beautiful thing, and it's much more painful to read about than just plain contemporaries. Sometimes it does really depend on how it will be delivered by the author, as well as the fact that this book explores poverty, sexual violence, racism, sexism, all together in this autobiographical novel. But I really believe that this book is gonna wreck me to pieces, and I'm all here for it. This is called A Tragic Kind of Wonderful by Eric Linstor. This is a book that I hardly have ever heard anybody talk about, and I actually like that because I kind of like keep it to myself if it's a hidden treasure, and I have a feeling that this is a hidden treasure, but now I'm introducing it to you, so let it be a hidden treasure for all of us. Since I've read every last word, I have been so desperate throughout 2 years to find a book that is similar to it, or not really similar, or something, just something that can impact me just as strong as it did. But I hardly believe that will ever happen. I think every book has its own kind of purpose, and it will not make me feel the same thing from another book. So that is fine. That's the beauty of things, right? This book is about a 16-year-old girl named Mel who has bipolar disorder, which is a shift of mood, energy levels, concentration, activity levels, and the capability of carrying out normal day-to-day tasks. We follow Mel, who is experiencing very difficult and complicated relationships with her past friends who are no longer her friends anymore, as well as continuously experiencing the grief of her brother. Later on in the story, when she and that past friend group confront her with a certain thing, she is like faced again with that heaviness, with that relationship, that she doesn't know how to handle that anymore. She has this feeling of guilt from that friendship as well as she is feeling this guilt because she is hiding a very specific truth from the breakup of that friendship. And if people find out about that truth, everything in her world would most likely collapse. So again, as you observe, this is another hard-hitting contemporary, which I kind of like. The reason why I believe is because hard-hitting contemporaries, I cannot say the word, handles difficult topics like sexuality, mental illness, difficulty in just accepting relationships with friends, loved ones, any of those. The thing is, when you read about it, you get to create this empathy link with yourself and with the people who have experienced these kinds of things in their life and don't get to talk about it with somebody else. You already have like this small understanding already of how hard it is, or how deep it goes, or how serious the situation is, instead of overstepping and assuming already that it's no need, that you don't have to talk about it. I'm not describing this properly, which is a very normal thing in this channel, but I'm very happy if you do get to understand what I'm saying, because in my head it is very messy, but I'm sure if I'm editing this it might have kind of sense. I hope so. Now, if you're still here, hi. So we're gonna talk about very shortly about the books that I am currently reading. So the first one is that I'm listening to the audiobook of The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, and let me tell you that the audiobook is so creepy. Like, my goodness, like the voice itself and how it's told is so eerie and atmospheric, and kind of like there's a vignette surrounding her voice. Up so far, I have reached like chapter 6, 9, I don't know. Ooh, 69. Well, the book is about a nanny or a caretaker, but works to become a nanny in this smart house. The house itself is like such a creepy place. In the beginning of the book, we actually know that this nanny has been accused of murdering one of the kids in that smart house, and we just follow her writing these letters to her lawyer saying that she's innocent. She's writing basically this entire novel using her letters. But the very smart thing about this book is that you tend to forget that, oh, this is basically letters written by the murderer. And she's writing this while she's in juvenile jail. I have like a couple things that I'm also reading. Yeah, I'm not taking things lightly. So I'm reading Thinner by Stephen King, and I just started this one this morning. Fun fact about this book, when I bought this book, I just sifted right through it, and then I saw this. It's I'm not sure what you call it. It's not a calling card, but it's like a message card. It says here, you can do it, and then at the back it says here, no doubt, anything you want to do, and then a smile face, and then a name called Val. Honestly, seeing this prompt into this book, I don't know if I should feel comforted or terrified. But yeah, I'm using this as a bookmark so that I can feel great and terrified much more when I'm reading this book, because this is a horror book. So this is about a guy who is a lawyer. He has a nice family, wealthy family, I believe. He's a very good American life, but he is extremely overweight, and I believe his doctor says that he's going into heart attack territory if he continues with his weight gain. But then he confronts this old man, a gypsy man, and he kind of like casts a spell or curse upon the man that we're following. From then on, he just keeps getting thinner and thinner and thinner without any kind of explanation of why that's happening, of how that's happening. Of course, obviously because of the curse, but like, how is it happening? Well, he has to find a way to make him stop getting thinner. Otherwise, I feel like if he continues getting thinner, he'll just like cease to exist. I'm also reading 2 nonfiction books, which is What They Don't Tell You in Film School, at film school, and Who Says You Can't, You Do. I actually started this already in the beginning of June, but as nonfictions will go, or self-help books in general, is that you don't always read them through and through. At least for me, I like to read a couple chapters here and there and then put it down, then come back to it a couple weeks later to see if that information sank in my brain, which rarely happens. The next thing is What They Don't Teach You at Film School. And up so far, I've been loving it really much lately. It has been broadening my mind in the film world and my decisions with my life and techniques on how I should see film. And the last book that I am reading is a graphic novel called The Valstrik. This is the Dutch one. This is originally a French graphic novel by Edgar P. Jacobs. This is basically about time travel. Yeah, I've been really falling into a science fiction time travel graphic novel phase right now, so I thought this would be a great place for me to dive into. And yeah, thank you for watching again. I hope you're doing well. If you're not doing well, that's also alright. You just be yourself. I am Sakina Vanessa, so yeah. See you in the next video.